I'm Dr. Jennie Hsu, lifestyle medicine physician, transformation health and wellness coach, and founder and CEO of Wellness Visions in Richmond, California. My vision for humanity is that all health conditions are healed holistically and completely, empowering people to live a rich, productive, and meaningful life. Each person contributing to their community, including being stewards of Earth. And our mission here at Wellness Visions is to empower million-plus people by 2050 to achieve the highest optimal health, energy, and vitality in harmony with their mind, body, and spirit, and with all living things on planet Earth through holistic health and wellness programs, retreats, and centers globally. When I founded Wellness Visions, I was introduced to an amazing advanced technology called the Energy Enhancement System, or EESystem, created by a holistic healer named Dr. Sandra Rose Michael. And as a physician and scientist and educator, I was just taken aback by all the amazing research and testimonials from people around the world on how the EESystem provided scalar coherent fields for people to elevate their ability to activate their own healing potential. And not only were they doing that, they were charging up their cells, their mitochondria. People were noticing that they were more relaxed and more at peace, even if they were going through a really stressful time in their lives. And this was supported by many practitioners who had their patients go to EESystems globally. And other scientists that were well known could be able to measure the effects, whether it was in the biofields with improvement in the energy fields around people, to seeing live blood analysis showing improvement in hydration and oxygenation of the blood and more blood flow. And we also could find out that there was improvement not only in how people felt, but this was supported by things such as finding that there was improvement in DNA and chromosomal changes, including what we call biological age. And people would come out of the EESystem looking vibrant and radiant and had more energy throughout the week. And for me, in my prior training, I was an internal medicine primary care doctor for over 2 decades. I saw people shift in many ways I'd not seen before. So it was amazing to see all these stories around the world. And earlier in 2025, I was trained and certified to offer the SONG Laser, developed by another pioneer in energy healing named Dr. Todd Ovakaitis, who is a leader in the regenerative medicine space. And he has another advanced form of energy healing using a specialized red light laser that can activate your own stem cells that we call V cells. And we are increasing those V cells by 2.5 times so that they can be introduced back into your body, and through the properties of the laser, the light, and also sound healing, they can turn into any type of cells your body needs to regenerate. And I've also seen just remarkable changes in people, sometimes immediately afterwards. And there are case studies that are published of people who have seen changes, such as improved cognitive function if they had memory loss, or if they were suffering from other neurological conditions like stroke and Parkinson's. There's also a published case series of 10 patients who had advanced heart failure and were on the heart transplant list, but 9 out of the 10 were able to get off the heart transplant list. It is also FDA approved for a number of genetic disorders that there has been no cures, but there are remarkable transformations. And so we're seeing that this type of technology, such as a SONG Laser, can assist people in rapidly accelerating that potential for healing, whether it's for the heart, for the nervous system and the brain, and also for joint conditions. And so it was a beautiful thing to bring together both the EESystem and the SONG Laser together, knowing that the EESystem is excellent at energizing and activating stem cells by itself, but it can also detoxify the body in an excellent way and removing toxins or energies that are impeding our ability to regenerate, and combining that with SONG Laser in a program that we call Regenesis Transformation, bringing these two synergistic technologies together. And so now we're going to hear a testimonial from a Wellness Visions member named Dan, who had great results from both the EESystem and the SONG Laser.
Hello, my name is Dan, and I want to tell my story of 60 years of concussions. My first concussion happened when I was 7 years old. It was a traumatic brain injury, and I've had numerous ones since then. The last one was a year ago, and as most people should know by now, they're cumulative. So the last one was very intense, and I had trouble driving. So I live in California, and the freeways are very fast, and I had to stay in the slow lane to get to work. And so my coworker had expressed coming to the energy enhancement system here in Richmond, California, and he brought me here, and I was listening to Dr. Jennie Hsu talk about wellness, and I noticed a difference when I walked in. The energy was different, and it was a 24 unit at that time. So I decided to give it a shot because I was very concerned with the state of my brain. And so after 30 hours in the energy enhancement system, the brain fog lifted, and I was amazed. And so from then on, my intention was to heal my brain from 60 years of concussion. And I had done a SPECT scan prior to coming into the center, and it showed my brain all lit up in a rested state when it should be hardly lit up at all in a normal state. So after 650 hours, I started noticing quite a bit of difference. Became a lot calmer. I've had anger issues my whole life since I was a kid, which is one of the side effects of concussions. And I also had a SONG Laser treatment in March of this year, 2025. And I started noticing a difference also with that. So there was a combination of the two technologies synergistically helping me heal my brain. One is the scalar technology of the EESystem, and the other one is a stem cell treatment with the SONG Laser. After about 1,100 hours, I had another SPECT scan, and this summer in July. And the doctor was amazed, of course, that my brain showed pretty much 100% healing after a year time of sitting in the energy enhancement system and also doing 2 SONG lasers. So it's refreshing to be calm. Pretty much my whole life I was agitated, very reactive, which I come to find out in 2012, that is kind of a normal state when you've had concussions. If anybody's seen the movie Concussion, based on a true story with football players, it's very detrimental to your health, and your behavior is unnormal, let's say. So I just wanted to share this.
So we are so grateful that we have members like Dan sharing their stories and really believing in the ability of the body to heal itself with the energy enhancement system and the song laser here at Wellness Visions. And I'd like to just ask Dan a few more questions about his experience. And Dan, you mentioned you felt the energy immediately upon coming into the center.
Yes.
What did that feel like?
Well, for me, it felt like warm water being along my skin. It was the vibration was tingly, also very comforting feeling on my skin.
Wonderful. And then you mentioned that after 30 hours in our 24-unit EE system at that time, you noticed that the brain fog lifted. How could you tell that there was a difference?
Well, it's actually I was driving to the center to sit in the energy enhancement system, and as I was driving, it felt like a veil lifted over my eyes because all of a sudden the outward world became very clear. So I knew immediately that that it worked, that it lifted the brain fog.
And you had mentioned in your story that you spent 1,100 hours in the EE system.
Yes.
And tell us a little bit more about how you spent that time, especially the first few months.
Well, I signed up for a package the first month, and I came every day. And I also took a couple weeks vacation and came and sit in the center. But I went 5 months straight every day, except for holidays, of course. But I really my intention was to heal the brain. Like I said before, it was 60 years of trauma to the brain, and I really wanted to give this opportunity to heal, and I felt I needed to sit and put in a lot of hours and then see the results from all the hours I put in.
You also shared that you had some experiences that were really profound during the time that you spent in the system. Can you share some more about that?
Yes, my intention was to heal the brain, but I also had other emotional issues come up, prior relationships, trauma with other relationships, trauma with the loss of my dad when I was 6. So I realized it was just not working on a physical level. There was also emotional issues that I was dealing with that were being released, and also just more mental calmness. I started feeling less reactive to anything that anybody said. I wasn't getting angry anymore. People at work were really noticing the difference in my behavioral change.
And that's really, wonderful that it's a testament to your commitment to changing. And I remember that you shared that spending a month here at the center was equivalent to a year's worth of therapy, in your opinion. Is that how you felt?
Yes, I had done other modalities of healing and, different trauma releasing and things of that nature. But I noticed how quickly things accelerated inside the system, where things were releasing really rapidly. The change was very quick compared to not being in the system, and I had done a lot of inner work for 25 years, and I just was amazed how quickly things were able to release, things were able to change. All the things I was working on when I came inside and sat down and sat in the system.
And you were very intentional about the things that you wanted to change.
Yes.
And would you say that you found that that was easier to bring about?
Yes, yeah, I would say that if you come into the system, have an intention, prayer, whatever works for you as far as just wanting to go within and see what's going on in there, whatever traumas you might have. It could be physical trauma, mental trauma, emotional trauma, and just allow all that stuff to come up, and then you're able to release it. So that's my experience, is really being intentional with what you want to experience when you come into the energy enhancement system.
Great. And you had also shared that you noticed a difference when we upgraded from the 24 unit to the 48 unit EE system. What was that experience like?
Yes, I was actually in the room when they went from 24 to 48, when they turned it on. It seemed more intense as far as the vibration. The energy felt more powerful, and I noticed it immediately as soon as it was activated.
And what is your experience since then of being in the 48 unit?
So the experience of the 48 unit after it was turned on, I noticed even more accelerated experiences happening. Supposedly it's anywhere from 4 to 10 times stronger than a 24, and I was experiencing vast improvements with the brain fog and everything just lifting. It just seemed to accelerate quicker.
Okay, that's great to hear. And you're correct that we started with a 24 unit, which is ideal for DNA and cellular repair, and we went up to the 48 with intention that it was 4 to 10 times as more powerful than a 24 unit, and allow the energies, the frequency for our own body to heal ourselves much more rapidly and easily. So I know that you had the 2 song lasers, as you shared in your story. What was your experience with each song laser, and what are some specific changes that you noticed since having each song laser?
Well, the first song laser I had was this year, beginning of March of 2025. And when I had that, it was, I noticed a difference as far as it started working on, my brain started changing. I could feel something going on inside there, like it was, the energy woke up. I don't know how to explain it, but it was a tingly feel in my brain. And then after the second one I had 2 weeks later, somewhere in June, it felt like I got jump started in my brain. There was like an electrical jolt that went through, and which really, I've never experienced something like that, but it seemed very profound. The 2 song laser treatments kind of accelerated in conjunction with the 48 unit. I was doing them every day, and I was really pushing to get these things done before my next test on the SPECT scan.
Yes, and your SPECT scans, thank you for sharing that with us. We'll be going over that in more detail, but it was very remarkable to see that areas that are potentially from when you were 7 and had the initial concussion, that those areas in the brain that seemed to be present on the first scan before you were introduced to the E system or song laser, that had resolved by a year's time, and after all the time that you spent in healing yourself. How did you feel when you saw those scans?
I was very happy, to say the least. When you're carrying around 60 years of concussions, and your behavior is unacceptable to the world, and I understand now there are probably a lot of people out there that are not aware their behavior is dictated by the concussion they may have experienced. I was ecstatic because to have this happen was really my intention, and to see it happen, have a physical manifestation through a test, I was surprised.
Well, we're really grateful that you committed to your health, that you allow these technologies to assist you in really accelerating your healing. And it really is transformational, because I've not seen anything like this before, where 60 years of issues that could be seen on a physical test between the SPECT scans and the neurocognitive imaging that supported the shift towards really more of a normal state in many ways. So thank you again for all the work that you've done to heal yourself. You're part of the journey, as each one of you who's committed to changing your health. And is there anything else that you would like to share as a final thing to share with the world?
Well, I believe that it wasn't so much the technology as it was your own personal intention. So the technology is available, but it's only a tool. It's really you doing a lot of work inside the system because you heal yourself. The technology just allows you to do it more effortlessly. So I'm very grateful to have found this system and to have the experience that I did.
Now let's take a look at the SPECT scan that Dan has kindly shared to show the difference. And what you see on the left is his scan back in July of 2024. And this is prior to the energy enhancement system and the song lasers that he had done in the past year. You can see that there are a lot of areas that appear overactive in the red and white. And if you compare it to the image on the right, which is his SPECT scan 1 year later, you can see that there is a dramatic difference in many parts of the brain images seen. And then if you go to the next image, you'll see a comparison of what an average male from 51 to 69, what their brain may look like, compared to Dan's most recent scan in July of 2025. And again, can see that the changes are very much similar to what an average scan may look. Now, these images were done after about 1,100 hours in the EESystem, and some of it, about 600, almost 700, was in a 24, and the remaining was in a 48 unit. Dan also had 2 song lasers during that time, and the purpose of that was to synergize the healing potential of both technologies to assist your own body in healing itself. So not only are these SPECT scans very remarkable, but they can correlate it to neurocognitive testing that Dan did to show that he had much more emotional ability to manage many things, and he was more resilient in many metrics. And so it's nice to be able to correlate how Dan felt and also these images. And now we're going to hear from Diane, another Wellness Visions member, who has experienced both the EESystem and the song laser, and hear the transformation she has gone through.
Hi, I'm Diane Wagner, and I have a hip issue, and I'm working hard to avoid hip replacement surgery. So I've been researching what I've heard about, and I'm sure some of you have too, is the med beds. And along my search 4 years ago, I found this energy enhancement system in the United States. There was only 2 at the time, maybe 5 years ago now, maybe 6 years ago. One in Utah and one in Texas. And I thought, I'm not going to fly out there. And fast forward, 3-4 years later, I forgot about it. And then I was researching other things on how to avoid hip replacement surgery, and I was listening to a naturopathic doctor, Penny Kelly, on the internet, and she said, look into EESystem, Energy Enhancement System, and she goes, look on the internet, they're popping up all over the place. So I did, and I found Wellness Visions in Richmond with Dr. Jennie Hsu. So I appreciate it because she's an internal medicine doctor of over close to 25 years, and I like being under the helm of a doctor. So I went into the energy enhancement system. At the time, she had 24 units. Now she has a 48-unit system, which is one of the largest in the United States of America. And when you walk into the room, you feel the energy. And it is spectacular. I have goosebumps telling that. But it brings me peace because I'm a type A personality that go, 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 go. And I'm sure some of you can relate. And in the system, it gives me the opportunity to reset and recharge the batteries of every single cell in the body, which I desperately need. And then I felt like I needed more, and I was looking into stem cell research. And I wasn't too sure about the stem cell procedure. The first doctor I spoke to, I said, well, where do you get these stem cells? And he says, we get it from women that donate their placenta after childbirth in the local hospital. And the local physician assistant does the procedure. But there's no guarantee it's going to work, and it's very expensive. Then 8 months later, I met another doctor, and I go, where do you get the stem cells? And he says, we get them from Texas. And I go, why Texas? And he says, because he can guarantee, the hospital guarantees that the couple did not get the COVID vaccine, and he's concerned of any of the adverse effects that people have been experiencing from the COVID vaccine being transferred into that placenta. I'm like, whoa, I never did think of that. That's a whole different can of worms I didn't even imagine or didn't even think of. So, and he said that it wouldn't work on me because I was too far gone and I needed surgery. So then Dr. Jennie at the Wellness Vision Center in Richmond, she onboarded the SONG Laser stem cell treatment. And it was a new procedure that she did. I sat down and I had 2 interview sessions with her. I always interview my doctors. And I wanted more research, so I extensively researched it and found centers across the United States and Panama that were doing it, and researched what information they had, and researched what Dr. Todd Okaitis, who created, and I hope I said that right, who created this SONG stem cell laser procedure did. And after all the research, I decided to go with Dr. Jennie and do the stem cell procedure. And these are the reasons why. It took a blood draw from my own blood. That was important to me because I didn't want any other being or body part from anybody else in my body besides me. Because I always think of, organ transplants, and then people have to be on an organ, transplant drug for the rest of their lives or for a long time. And I just think a stem cells would be something similar. I think. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. So, but that's the thought process I went down. And then what they did is they spin the blood so that they get the human very small stem cells. And what I loved about it is they showed me what it looked like, and they said it looks like liquid gold. I thought it looks like beer or apple juice, right? And then they put it on my heart center, and they said, you pray and set your intention. And I really appreciate that because it's just not a medical procedure. It's a spiritual, mind-focused procedure where it's all working together. And then after I'm done, then they inserted through the same IV the stem cells back into my body. And then for 30 minutes, Dr. Jennie has this high-powered laser, and it can focus on different parts of the body. And that to me was exciting because all the other procedures, they only worked on one joint. And this, she goes, make a list of what you want to work on. And I go, really? I could work on multiple areas of the body. And she says yes. So because my right hip was the one that I was having problems with, then I just felt my left hip was starting to go. And that's why I was acting quick on the stem cell procedure. And I lost my ACL in a skiing accident, and she said we could work on that too, but she felt I needed more work on my spine because I have scoliosis and also the brain for the vagus nervous system. And I wanted to work on the eyes, and she went in with the laser into both eyes. And so I got to work on 5 of the 10 things I had on my list to work on. And when I was done with the procedure, because I'm not good with needles and all that stuff, I opted to spend the night in the energy enhancement system. I felt that was best for me. And because I wanted to get the most out of my investment and my time, I booked out a month and a half in the energy enhancement system. I was here every single day. And I videotaped myself before I came in, which is what brought me in. When I saw how I walked, I was mortified, and I thought that's got to change. And I've been doing a video diary of me walking, and there is a difference. And what makes me happy, because when we're with ourselves every day, we live with ourselves every day, look at ourselves in the mirror, I should say, don't often see my progress. But when I haven't seen people for 2, 3, 4 weeks, and they see the difference in me, that's what makes me feel good. So people do say I'm walking a lot better. I must say I'm getting the best sleep I've ever had in my entire life. The 2 days after the stem cell procedure, I slept almost 2 days straight. It was amazing. Previously, I would wake up seriously 5 or 6 times during the night. And now, since I've done the stem cell laser song procedure and in the energy enhancement system, I only get up maybe once a night. And since I've been away from the system, I am waking up 3 or 4 times a night again. That means I need to get back into the system. But there's something about the rest part of it and the sleep part of it that is so incredibly important. And my team, Dr. Jennie, I have another naturopathic doctor, Dr. Claudia, and Igasku, which is a muscular postular therapy. They all say the same thing, is sleep is one of the most important thing to get. Where my Western medical doctors, they don't say anything like that. It's always prescriptions and surgery. So I'm very grateful that simple things in life like sleep are very valued by my current medical team. So my progress has been good. The other side effect that's been great is people that haven't seen me for a while, they say, you look good, you look great. And I go, really, thank you. They go, no, you look really, really good. Your skin is glowing. Your skin looks great. And I've even had people say, you look 7 years younger. And I go, you got to be kidding me. They go, no, Diane, we're serious. You look 7 years younger. So that's the side effect of the SONG Laser stem cell procedure and being in the energy enhancement system for a month and a half. I've put in, I would say, over 150 hours because I am determined to heal. So I'm here to say, if you're determined to heal, I recommend you do these 2 procedures, the SONG Laser stem cell procedure and the energy enhancement system. It's a journey. It does not happen overnight. I'm still working on it. I'm not perfect yet, but there's a huge progress. I'd say I'm probably maybe at least 50 or 60% better than what I was. And that's a lot when you're not feeling well and you're in pain. Getting 50 to 60% better is a lot. And I'm just continuing to get better every day. And I wish the same for you.
So thank you for watching these amazing stories from both Dan and Diane. And we are excited to have you experience both the 48-unit energy enhancement system and the SONG Laser. And if you would like to visit our center here in Richmond, California, contact our center at 510-660-5282 to find out how you can book a session in the EESystem. I would also invite you to visit our website, wellnessvisions.com, to find out how you can book a session here with us and join for free as a member and be part of our vibrant and growing community. Now, if you would like to find out more about the SONG Laser, I invite you to visit songlaserdiscovery.com. And there you will find the ways that you can hear from Dr. Todd Ovakaitis being interviewed about the SONG Laser and about the links to the research and the testimonials from people who have gone through the SONG Laser. You will be able to schedule a complimentary 30-minute discovery session with me about the SONG Laser. And we'll go through what your concerns are, how we may be able to work together, And I always offer information that you can use, no matter if you decide to go through the Song Laser with us. But we have seen these remarkable transformations, and we really invite you to explore the way that you can restore hope and renew your vitality and be able to have that productive, rich, abundant life that we are all meant to have when we are in a state of health and wellness.